Hello, my name is Ed Nodlin, co-founder of Jetstream Innovations. I'm going to provide a short demonstration of our GapCross Assessment program. The assessments we see today, Carrie and I have both worked on these. I'm going to jump in here. I've already signed in to GapCross. I'm on the Marketplace dashboard. This is a place where authors can offer their programs for others to acquire. And you can see we got a few examples here. GapCross has several different things here. I can manage my schedules and scheduling of assessments. I got some past due, upcoming, completed. I can go in and manage clients, and I can manage my assessments. What I'm going to do here, and all of that is sort of wrapped around the core. What I want to do today is sort of focus on the core capabilities of assessing, audits, procedures, and the types of programs that can be built. For starters, what I want to do is jump in and just show you how a program is built from scratch. So I'm going to click on Author. I'm going to give my program a name. I'm going to call it Sample 1. I'm going to go in and add a section. We'll call it Calibration. So I could add multiple sections in here. I'll go into this section and I'll add a question. So I put the question in. I can put in tips for the user to help them understand how to go about answering the question. I can specify the question type. You know, if it's a number, then I can specify a minimum value, maximum value. On multiple choice, I'm going to change the default settings to yes, no, and sometimes. I can go down here and pick out which is the default answer if I want one. And if I want to activate scoring, I can pick out what the correct answer is, and I can give each question a different weighting value for the scoring. I can also add a link if it's a standards or a regulatory type audit that I'm producing. I can link to those standards, link to those regulations. I can also link to training information, videos, documents, or other media. The other thing that can be added in here is the ability to put in logic, so that if you have a question like, is there swimming pools or hot tubs on the properties, and you say no, entire section on swimming pools and hot tubs or questions around that would not come up then. So that's all I want to really show on how programs get developed and edited. I'm going to jump into an assessment, and so I'm showing my active assessments right now. Sort by status, and I'm going to jump back in and go into this Durawall assessment that's already been started. Now most of the assessment's been completed, so the scenario is I was out, I completed everything, but I had a couple of things I needed to follow up on first. You'll notice the sections that are blue. That means that all the questions in that section have been answered. The ones that aren't, there's at least one or more questions in there that not. So I can see my answered questions are blue. The black one isn't. I can also find my unanswered questions by clicking the unanswered filter. I see there's just two sections, two questions. So let's jump in here. So, you know, the scenario would be I've done the assessment, I got some stuff to follow up on. I made a note at the time on what I wanted to do, obtain and attach a second test report. I have one PDF already here and a picture. I would attach my second report, and now I can say yes, and you'll notice that that's answered. It goes away from my filtered list. Jump into the second one. I have a couple of pictures attached. Oh yeah, I was going to go out there and get a photo of the new installation. So let's say I did. Here's my photo. Let's just take a look at that. It links into the high resolution photo, and so yes, I've attached to my photo, and you notice down here it comes up and now it says complete. So at this point I can complete the assessment, and that'll lock it from further editing and turn it into a permanent record. So let's go ahead and complete that. And while the PDF generates, there are other types of applications you can create in GapCross. One would be a procedure or a data collection application where you do things in a certain sequence and take certain notes, and then you have a permanent record when you're done that process was performed correctly, and you have any data collected available there. That's not always the case on an audit. I'm going to jump into this JRT Foods assessment, and in this case, you're going through and you're doing a comprehensive audit. Now this one's based after the Food Safety Modernization Act, that is basically 21 CFR Part 117. And in here, as you're doing an audit, you may not do it in the exact sequence of how the questions are laid out. So if I want to find any question having to do with sanitation, I can just type sanit in there. I'm getting sanitation, sanitize, and I have only questions that have to do with sanitation. Another way that you want to jump around and find questions is I want to find all the questions where I found non-conforming conditions. So I click that. Now I'm just seeing sections with non-conforming conditions. If the one I want to find in particular had to do with sewage, I'll just type sewage in and I find one question had to do with sewage. I can come back in here and clean this up, add more attachments, describe corrective actions further before completing the assessment. So that pretty much covers everything I wanted to cover here. Oh, let's see. I know there's also questions about, well, how do I start a new assessment? So let's take a look at that real quick. I come in here, I click Start. I can name my assessment. I can pick which program the assessment is based on. I can select what client I want or not, schedule it out into the future, start or schedule that assessment, and that gets it started up. So that pretty much covers it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Carrie Black or myself. Our information is shown here. We'd be glad to talk and answer any further questions. Thank you.